right, guys, welcome back to the NSDC Podcast. Are we recording?
Oh, we're done.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, man? Welcome back to the NSDC. Hey, don't cut that out either, okay?
Oh, no, that's staying.
Yeah, you came in with high energy today.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. Hey, happy to have you guys here. For the people that tune in and follow. Another week, another NSDC. Here we are with the homies, man. Shout out to Elusive. Shout out to Jesus. Well, the other one,
Yeah.
And overall, it's been a pretty good week, man. How's everybody doing? How's everybody, hanging in there? Everyone chilling?
Yeah. So far, so good. Can't complain.
Yeah, for me, I'm just looking forward to this. Now that I changed up from iced coffees to hot coffees because the weather changed.
Wait, you don't drink hot and ice?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, but
Okay.
for example, in the morning, don't call me like that, dog. Let me tell you my story, dog. Look at this guy.
Well, because I was making sure you do it throughout the year. Like, all right, cool. I ain't the only one. That's what it was.
No, you're good. Yeah. Well, I'll just say that in the morning I prefer hot, and then after the morning I'm cool with cold.
I like to have a cold drink and a hot drink in the morning. Maybe at the same time. I'll take a sip of one and a sip of the other.
I think I'm with Elusive on this one. I kind of like a hot coffee in the morning, and then roll into like a colder coffees like in the midday.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in the fucking summer, man.
Well, it's summertime here in Miami all the time. So. But not still, like, at least for me, like a nice cafe con leche in the morning, keep it simple.
And then like those tamales that you showed us today, I wouldn't be able to those like 90 or 100 degrees outside. Personally.
I didn't give a fuck how hot it was outside, brother. Tamales,
No, I bet.
Tamales. Wait, who made those?
See, it's because go ahead.
Shout out to my homie, Manny Got Cakes. He's a coworker of mine, and he's one of the food runners at my restaurant. But he also has some hidden talents. So shout out to him. He used to work in hospitality. He used to work in the kitchen before, and he made the smart move and stepped away from being in the back of the house and transferred to the front of the house. But he still has those skills. So he threw down some tamales. And they were good, man. Like, you know what? They were good because they're unorthodox. They were not like your standard tamales. What I would say, like we're used to. He kind of had a little bit of a fusion flavors, like Asian flavors. So it was a little nice to get a little surprise, because it's just something that's out of the ordinary, and it was nice on the palate, and it was good, man. Good. I feel like it was a pretty good market value. I think the veggie one was like $5, the one with pork was $6, the one with beef was $7. I mean, dude, that's a pretty good price. You know what I mean?
I figured it was some artsy fartsy fucking tamale. It wasn't like the real Mexican shit. I'm glad you liked it, bro.
And the name of his company is a little sus, but we'll let it slide.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he used to do pastry, so his main thing is always pastry, and he easily goes into culinary when he does his pop-ups and stuff. So. It was very tasty, man. And, actually big shout out to him. Me and him went to grab a quick, little bite after work and shit with his, a couple friends, couple coworkers, man. We gathered something that I don't normally do. I'll be honest with you. I don't really like hanging out too much with my coworkers. And it's just simply like, I spent so many hours with them that it's just like, man, I need a break. You know what I mean? Like, it's just too many days, too many hours with the same people. I kind of have a tendency to want to disconnect, So, but
you're popular, bro. What I'm learning is you're a man of the people. You know what I mean? Some might even say the voice of the people. You know what I mean?
That's what they say. Based off of the last episode, I think we got some really good feedback. We had probably the most comments we've ever had. I didn't know that all it took was some shit talking to get some comments in the chat. That's crazy.
We definitely got some of the best engagement we've had for sure.
Yeah, and authentic engagement, right? Not just like the thumbs up and the little fire symbols, actually damn, thank you for saying these things. And it just lets us know something that we've always known. And that's the fact that there's kind of like a silent majority kind of situation going on. I feel like a lot of people that have been in the hobby have their opinions and all that good stuff, and they choose just not to express that opinion because they may think like, hey, what difference does it make, or hey, I don't want to get canceled, I don't want to be gatekept from stuff, whatever.
Yeah, I think that more than anything, you hit it on the head last time when you said it. I mean, even Doom told you when you mentioned it on the episode, like, what are you gonna, you're not gonna stop me from buying foreigns, you're not gonna stop me from doing this or that. I think that's what they're mostly scared of, if they're scared, or to your point, there's just the people that rather not even get involved. But the ones that want to get involved but don't, is because they fear that certain cards are not going to be, available to them. There's a lot of, there's so many games going on. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know so much about it. I think we covered every angle of it.
But I will say that I do think that's pretty valid, right? Because we know people that have gotten canceled in the hobby, right? Would you say that that's pretty fair?
Shout out to Vic. Yeah.
Shout out to Vic.
People, well, canceled from the hobby. It's more complicated than just getting canceled for no reason. Like, there's many reasons why some people are less active in the hobby now.
And I would agree with you, but like, for example, in Vic's case, and even though Vic's gets a little crazy,
well, I don't want to bring up Vic's case because
but that's
because then you're gonna have him in the comments and he's gonna be mother effing people. Like, I just want to avoid all that.
And that's where Vic gets in trouble, is that he gets a little too crazy and he starts using the nasty language. But at the end of the day, man,
I'm definitely cutting those off, Vic. I'm just letting you know we're just those are getting bro. Can't have that.
But for me, man, like personally, people always ask me about like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I always say I'm in a weird space because no matter what my opinion is, and no matter what your opinion is, I believe that we should both be able to express our opinion because, that's what what should be done.
I think as long as it's a fair conversation all the way through, and I think we did that well because I gave you pushback on some topics, and I think we covered most angles on it. Just because, again, I've had a little experience with some of the quote unquote influencers in the hobby, just being on the other side making content. Like, once you have your own channel too, like, you start to view things differently, and like what you put out there and how you put it, what that does with the hobby. I think Elusive takes that into consideration too, even though he probably doesn't speak about it much. Like, everyone who does content, even us in NSDC, like, we tell you why, we gather every week and we say the things we do in a fair way. Like, once it starts being like a blame game or like I'm just gonna take shots at people for no reason, no one wants to listen to that. They might listen to it like for a little while, but negativity is so easy to spread. If it has no real context behind it or a topic that really is important in the hobby, we wouldn't get the engagement. So I think more than anything, we have a fair conversation that maybe not everyone is willing to have or have yet. Privately, everyone has that conversation. Publicly is different.
Influencers, or if you guys are listening, just keep just keep up the rah rah.
Well, you're one of them now, bro. You're the
shaking.
voice of the people, so you got some responsibility now.
Listen, influencers, keep shaking those pom poms. Just know that
that's why
in the back end.
Don't want to accept it. That's crazy to me.
In the back end, there's regular Joe Schmo people like us, and some of us aren't blind to it, man. We just choose either not to say something about it or not to call it out because we don't want to cause fuss. But then you meet somebody that just doesn't really care. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna cancel me for, bro?
I think also, just like what Doom was saying, like the reason I might have, like, there's definitely been some changes that I've done since we started, and I think it has to do with the type of podcast we do also, right? Like, I just like to talk shit in general. I mean, if you know me, you know me. I'll offer, whether we're recording or not. Like, this week we're talking to Johnny, and I'm still talking shit all the time. That's just how I show love and how I have fun. But if this was a different type of podcast, like a conspiracy theory podcast, then I definitely wouldn't tone back at all. But the fact that, again, that this is about collecting, it's supposed to be a little bit more positive for sure. Then I've toned it down, and then also I've said my piece. I also don't want to be a broken record. I mean, people know how I feel about the things that I've said in the past. So now I'm just moving forward and just looking to what's coming. So that's more of where it is. But don't get it twisted. you know, you could definitely still catch an anti-shout out.
Oh.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, listen, I think it was an authentic, you know, those responses were authentic. And, you know, again, I mean, I'm glad that we could be part or a small voice for the silent majority. We may not have those, you know, 2,000 fake followers or bot followers or whatever, you know, whatever. But hey, man, you know, we're getting authentic engagement from people that we know in the hobby. And I'll take that. I'll take that every day over, you know, you having 5,000 followers but 10 likes. It just doesn't, you know, the numbers don't add up. You know what I mean? That's all I'm gonna say about
the
that.
math ain't mathing. Is that
The
what
math
you're
ain't mathing, my brother. You know.
saying? So there's a little inflation going on.
You know.
That's wild. See, like people's don't gas up Sergio, people. Like it's just he's gonna go crazy. It's just, you know, man.
Crazy. You know, for sake of conversation, just so you know, I think I might have mentioned to Elusive. I got sick a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And my mind couldn't be any clearer because I'm actually like, you know, I haven't smoked. I'm super sober. So my mental clarity right now is like tippy top, you know? And, you know, I feel really good about that. It's, you know, for people that do or don't know, I mean, you know, I truly don't think it's something that's like an addictive thing. It's more of kind of like a habit, right?
Yeah.
Especially like since it's, for me, honestly, it's only like kind of like a once a day thing after work, just to like knock the edge off a little bit, a long day at work. But, you know, taking that kind of break because I was so banged up, and really I was on a podcast a few weeks ago and I was banged up, guys. You guys just don't know it, you know? But the mental clarity that I've got from it, man, like, you know, I'm really appreciating like that little break time, you know, from that. So, you know, just don't gas me up, you know, because I might not say, you know, might not keep my mouth shut anymore, you know? So watch your mouth.
Yeah, and, you know, I could definitely attest for that too, because a while back, if you guys remember, I was always on them gummies. And then, you know, I was a little forgetful, a little too much, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, it's time to take a little hiatus, you know? But
yeah, man, it's a good thing, you know?
It is.
But overall, man, like I said, just really happy with the engagement. Because again, you know, like I feel like we you know, we plucked a few heartstrings with some collectors out there, man. And, you know, I'm still waiting on the lurkers, you know, because obviously we still got some people that lurk, you know. It's okay, guys. You know, if you guys are out there, you know, drop. You know what? If you don't want to comment words, just drop the little fire symbol. That's it. That's all I'm saying, bro. You know?
And there is some comments we'll say in regards to this, because you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a guy that comments a lot, but I always have a hard time understanding what angle he's coming from. Like, is this a positive comment? Like, are you saying you agree with us? You don't agree with us? Like, it's very in betweenish, or maybe I'm not reading in between the lines, you know, when I'm reading these comments. But shout out to you. I'm sure you know who you are, you know?
Yeah. For sure. That was a fun conversation.
So what have you guys been up to this week? What's been on your mind?
This week? I've been chilling, bro. Just watched recently Mike Mignola documentary. I forget the name of it. It is, let me look it up real quick because I would like people to actually
is this
go watch
recent
it.
Or is this older doc?
So no, recent. I think this actually came out it came out this year from what I'm reading. It's called Mike Mignola Drawing Monsters. And I think you can write on most, you know, digital platforms for like $5.
Yeah.
The one with Hellboy on the cover?
Yep. Yeah. Nice. Well, yeah. It's about him and how he created Hellboy and how he got started in comics and how it became a big brand onto itself. I've always liked Mignola's artwork just from afar because, again, I didn't grow up reading the books or know about them, right? Comic books. So as soon as I would say when I was in college, I started dipping into comic books and really started with podcasts because I listened to 11 O'Clock Comics, which was a podcast I listened for over 10 years. And I really just liked listening to people talk about comics and creators and like have passionate discussions. And so I would go start looking at some. There was a comic shop near the university, and that's like the first one I ever saw around me. And Mignola always had it like, I was in design, so he always had a unique style and
Yeah.
like real heavy with the shadows and
Do
like having like super contrast lighting. Um,
do you feel like when
mhm,
it comes to his colors, do
mhm.
you think that Francavilla got inspired by him?
I don't know if he got inspired from this, because I don't know how if they're around the same era or
Mm.
previous, but uh, yeah, they have some similarities, right?
Yeah.
But
With the shadows, like you were mentioning,
yeah,
the
with the shadows, and a lot of them um, draw inspiration from each other, so it's difficult. I don't know much about Francavilla. That's someone I haven't researched as much, but I know his work from the Mondo posters from
Mm.
again when I was in school. I was all about that, but yeah, it's a dope documentary. Talk about it. They talk about his starting comics, his childhood and how that affected it.
Mm.
It's just a dope doc. I would recommend it to anyone who's interested in the comic book creation process and just like looking at an artist and kind of breaking them down all the way. You had a bunch of other creators who talked on there and talked about his work and how he affected a lot of different artists across different mediums. So that was a dope one.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
I have a couple comics. I haven't read much of Hellboy, but that's one like little. It's weird. Like that's one where I just kind of save because I know I'm a deep dive into that area, and I've spoken about it before, but I kind of saving it. And like looking at the documentary makes me want to go and start reading from his first books all the way to like the latest stuff he's done, and he has a whole universe of different characters, and he pulls a lot of stuff from mythology and like
Yeah.
um, cryptic shit. You know what I mean? Like he was fascinated with graveyards and like these statues in the graveyards.
Like gargoyles and stuff.
Yeah, and like the way he broke it down, he just wanted to draw monsters all his life. So it's
Yeah.
dope. I would recommend that.
I was going to say, how common do you think it is for, at least for comic book artists, for them to be the artist and the writers as well?
Mm.
Ooh, yeah, that's interesting. He mentioned like I think his first book, Hellboy book, he had a he had I don't know if it was Arthur Adams or some other artist write it for him because he didn't have confidence in it. He just wanted to draw it. And then
Okay.
over time he kind of like after doing that book or a couple books, then he just decided to do it and he kind of got the hang of it because it was his own creation. There's no stakes. He was just having fun. So he started writing it. I think that's how most of these artists. I know, like Scotty Young. I used to follow him a lot when he was doing like the Wizard of Oz shit, and then he started writing like I believe the Rocket Raccoon stuff on his own. And yeah, you see a lot of those illustrators turn into like writers, just because they get to control the narrative and decide what they want to draw, have more control over it. So
Yeah, that's dope.
I think that's what happens, but I'm sure it varies from person to person.
Yeah, there's people like, to your point, like a Mike Mignola that just wanted to stay the artist, whether it's because, he didn't have confidence in his writing, but I'm sure there's people that just don't really care and all they want to do is draw too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. There's just a lot. The Guillermo del Toro is there,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of cool parts to the whole evolution of Hellboy, which again I'm familiar with, but I didn't know the details behind it that they went into depth with. Uh, and I've always loved his just sense of design in his artwork. So
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro, man, my wife's super into Pan's Labyrinth. That's one of her
yeah,
favorite movies, as
That's a
well as
great movie.
yeah,
yeah.
as well as the Crimson Peak. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so she has a couple of his books, by the way. I might take a
Nice,
few photos for her and just show what she
bro.
has.
Everything Mignola's into, I think that's the vibes that like he has a whole library full of just books of just all kinds of mythology and like creatures from different uh like every country has its own like
Yeah, like what we were talking about last time.
Yeah,
Like,
right. And so he just pulls from that, and like he is into all that. He's into the horror movies, and his favorite thing is the Dracula, which is how he did the. I think he illustrated it.
Yeah, he
in the
did
comic form.
Yeah, he did. He did that for Topps for the Bram Stoker's Dracula, for sure. Yeah, yeah. And going back to Guillermo, the other thing I was going to say, if you guys also want to check out one of the best shows horror wise, is his Cabinet of Curiosities. That show that's on Netflix, and he got, from what I could tell, it's either different directors or both different directors and writers to write every single episode. So he's pretty much letting people that are just getting their feet wet in the industry get a shot at putting something out there. So it's cool because every episode you look at, it has a different feel. It'll remind you, like, kind of like the what's what I'm looking for. Like, it has like the Tales of the Crypt, Tales from the Crypt feel. Remember that they were all like little short stories.
Thing?
Yeah, but they were all like little short stories. Yeah,
Yeah.
very similar to that. So if you're into that, I definitely recommend that show. It's pretty dope.
Although I don't really fuck with the horror, but
yeah, it's nothing crazy. You know what I mean? None of them with clowns.
I do it, and that's the thing about his artwork, and that's I kind of like. I love some of that imagery, even like Tales of the Crypt. Right, we go back to that type of horror. Was it EC Comics? Right, those are the ones that are from back in the day that have like the horror vibes. Like a lot of that style, like I like, but the topic, I'm not like, I don't know, because I grew up Catholic or whatever. It's just it's kind of it's difficult to accept.
Doom's a good kid, man. I'm telling you.
We were
talking earlier.
Even Mignola talks about growing up Catholic, right? And like some of that imagery, it's familiar and you're somewhat comfortable with, but at the same time, it's I don't know, like it's I don't want to fuck with bad energy, you know what I mean? But yeah, there's that duality to that stuff that I might start going down and looking at. There's certain things that I'll never get into. But shout out to all the people who love horror at a different level. Yeah, for sure. There's some shit. You're not gonna watch me watch the Texas Chainsaw Man. No, I'm good though.
Yeah,
Nah, I'm all right, bro. I fuck with zombies though.
We were trying to do a movie night, dog.
I'll skip on that. I'll watch The Walking Dead any day though.
Yeah, if you guys only knew how many stuff Doom skips out on, it's crazy.
I love Skip. Yeah, Skip one is the best.
But hey, speaking of Dracula, I read a little post today saying that the Blade movie is indefinitely on postpone.
That's weird.
It's a little weird,
They killed it, right? I mean, it feels like they killed it.
I mean, listen, if the actor is not doing it because it's a bad movie, dude, I'm not mad at him.
No, do you think he might have asked for too much money, or is it the new actor?
No, I honestly, I think it's a bad script, and I think that he doesn't want to do it because it's a bad script.
Gotcha.
Well, that's been the issue because they've fired multiple directors, right? Because the script has gotten criticized, at least from the rumors that they've said.
I will say though, like now, this kind of gives. I mean, if I was Marvel, right? If I was, some kind of like big wig at Marvel, dude, hit up Wesley Snipes, bro. Like, he's
for
the
what
OG.
They just did. Didn't he just come out with a movie?
Yeah, but let's make a Blade movie, bro.
Yeah.
You know what? Sure. I mean, whatever the fans want. Again, I know Blade is a huge thing. The original Blade, I saw it once. It didn't mean that much to me, but I guess the homies rock out.
Free and
yeah. I mean, look, I'm definitely not a daywalker, and I respect it, but yeah, Doug. I mean, we're good. Yeah, I'm good.
I mean, listen, I like the Blade movie. I think I would love to see a revival of the series, and just try. Listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Try to keep it like pretty close to the first movie. Obviously, it's the best one for a reason, and Yeah, man, like
It seems
that whole kind
here's
of
the
like
thing.
woke culture we got going on at Disney is just, dude, some of that stuff just doesn't work with some of the content we're doing.
That's
Bro.
where you're going with it.
I'm sorry,
I don't
man.
know if it's that. I don't know if it's much of the quote unquote woke, whatever that is. But it, bro, they just don't have a fit for the plans anymore. Do you, as a fan of Blade, do you want them to force a Blade movie on you? I wouldn't, just because it was announced.
I mean, you already did it to all the other movies. You want to talk about God and
Mhm.
Thunder? That was a forced movie, my brother. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's forced. They just decided they just went wrong with that one. But again, like the Doom thing, I wish they wouldn't. Like, if this is a force to fix whatever they did with Kang, like, I think it's bullshit. I would have waited for the proper Doom movie. I don't know. If I'm a fan, I want them to get it right or don't do it. Don't touch it at all. And it seems
Yeah.
like they keep scrapping it for a reason. So, like, at this point, if I was a Blade fan, I'd be like, you know what? Leave it alone. Let it be. Leave it alone until someone else who's passionate about it is going to do it justice. And for now, just put it, bench it.
To be fair, I mean, Free and them are not gonna like this, but as a superhero, I mean, he doesn't really have a crazy talent. I mean, you know me, I've always bashed on certain superheroes, but I'm pretty sure America Chavez could take on Blade, which is wild.
Oh wow.
Well, that's a different characters. Free, you can send message to Elusive Collectibles,
Yeah, send it to me for sure.
or in the group chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so that artist Mahershala Ali, the news came out that he originally wanted to be Commissioner Gordon, right? Commissioner Gordon. You want to be Commissioner Gordon for the Matt Reeves one, the one that came out with Benson. Now, they're setting up a new Batman universe with the DCU. So, maybe he goes back and plays Commissioner Gordon on that one.
Well, I heard that he's actually up for playing what is it? Fuck, I'm not really too keen with
they
DC
had a
guys,
different
but
rumor.
the Martian Hunter,
Man, I think, yeah.
The Martian Man, yeah.
Or Martian Hunter, one of those.
Yeah, something like that. I did read something about that. I mean, I know very, very little of that character.
Yeah, me too.
But
him being a DC movie, I'm with it. I'm rolling DC lately. Maybe I'm just over Marvel.
Yeah,
shout out to all Marvel fans though. I ain't trying to hate. You know what I mean? It's just I'm not running. I hear like a lot of good things from Agatha, the series. I just haven't ran to go watch it. I still haven't watched Deadpool versus or Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm just nah, bro. I'm just
I'll
not.
Be honest. Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like Sergio's burned out from cards. You're burned out from Marvel in general. But I'll just be honest, man. The thing about DC and I love Batman as much as the next guy, and even more so Batmobiles. But other than Batman and a couple characters, DC doesn't have a lot of characters. That's the only problem I see. That's why you keep seeing a lot of shows. Like, how many damn Batman animated shows is there? Like, we could count them. My daughter was just showing me one that was like, I think it ran from 07 to 09.
There's a lot of Batman animated. Well,
and that's my point. Like,
and more of their films too, because they adapt a lot of storylines. Yeah, but that's a strong point. I would say that's fair, and a lot of people say that. I'm much more I'm much more interested in the DC world because I don't know too much about it. Like, I didn't know the Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't know Thor. I didn't know Iron Man.
Yeah.
I knew Hulk. I didn't know who Black Widow was.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm ready just for.
You want to be introduced to new characters.
Yeah, and James Gunn has a history of doing good films. Like, I watched all the Suicide Squad movies. I thought they were good. Like, they were fun.
Yeah, I mean,
King Shark, you have Polka Dot Man, you have all these like Peacemaker, John Cena, like a lot of interesting characters. I don't know their comics, right? But it was interesting, and it's a different tone than Marvel.
Yeah, I think that, to your point though, that's the only thing that's gonna save what I mentioned is if they have, good writing, good directors that bring low key characters to the mainstream. Yep. That's what they would need, to be honest with you. Like that Guardians of the Galaxy is a perfect example. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
what they
because
need,
they
man.
got
Because
big three. They got Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, right?
Superman,
Those are their
yeah.
big three. And then like Batman broke big world, the Batman world. Again, Penguin show right now is ridiculous. If people haven't watched it, episode 5 just came out.
And you know what it is too, man.
Keeps getting better.
On that note about the Penguin show, I still haven't started it, but I'm sure it's great. But the reason I bring it up is because that's another thing that they need to take, a page off of Marvel's book. At least, like to Sergio's point, before they got to the woke part of it, when you start with Iron Man and all the earlier films, notice that they start character development with single shows or single movies first, which is what they're doing with the Penguin. So you would need someone that's willing to like go through that process for each character. And that's another thing that I don't foresee. I don't foresee any of these people or directors or writers like staying that long in these projects for whatever reason. Like there's a lot of burning and churning. That's another problem.
But yeah, so I listened to James Gunn. I think he had an interview in the New York Comic Con, and their approach is not going to be the Marvel approach. They're not going to be all connected movies. They're doing like one shots. Here's a story from these characters, and they're all different types of like. It's not all dark. It's not all
It's all
one
different
theme.
takes. Yeah.
No, they're gonna be specifically its own capsule, its own vibe, and you like whatever he did, Guardians of the Galaxy. Don't expect that in like one of these other movies. Whatever Superman is, like if it's very holistic, very like positive, like don't expect that with like a Batman. Maybe it's a darker movie. Like it's they're gonna reference each other, but they're not gonna be like strictly connected where like you have to watch them in order or whatever. That's not
Yeah.
their approach, and they're not doing. I think someone on Twitter reached out to them and asked them, "Oh, are you guys doing like 3 movies only per year?" He's like, "No, we never set a number. Like they're taking their time with these."
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
So it seems like they're letting creatives be creative for now.
Look at that. You know.
For now, though, I mean, if it gets momentum, I'm sure like some of the you know
Executives.
executives are going to try to get their hands in there. But so far, I do like it, and they're having their new animated stuff, an animated show with the what's it called, Creature. Let me look it up because I think they just released, Creature Commandos, and it has like Frankenstein and like some other characters that they're using, but that's going to be its own thing, and
Yeah.
it's in its own vibe.
And to be honest with you, man, like I know this is my take, obviously my own opinion. Obviously, you guys have your own take on this, but for me, the reason I think that's a better approach when you're doing the character development, you don't necessarily have to tie everything in, but at least give a background story for each character with the kind of the same group of actors or directors or whoever's going to be involved. Because otherwise, if we're just talking about like you said, single projects, it's going to be hard to beat the classics, man. Like it really is. Like
Nah, now you sound like an old person.
yeah, I'm just telling you personally how I feel. Like I just think that here, and it's not even about being old. It's about like look at the Prometheus movie, and then they switch up the directors on this newest Alien. Like me and the homie Sal were upset about that because not because it's a new director or new cast, mainly because they're not continuing the story that where they left off with the engineers. So that's my problem. Like the problem with that is you're starting all these new projects and leaving them halfway, half-assed, and then just starting a new one. And like, what are we doing? Like, finish what you're starting. Is my point.
No, not if. Well, see, I'm counter that. Like, all right, so they didn't answer every question they gave in those movies. Well, someone down the road can pick it up where it left off, but you don't have to go and force a second and third film just cause.
No, that it wasn't forced. That was already announced, and then they pulled it. And
Well, but I mean, they pulled. I guess for their own reasons, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not too. I also don't like you have to do a trilogy because there's a trilogy. No, just do whatever is a good film and keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, that's my take on it. It's like if you're gonna do something, whatever you said you're gonna do it. I'm not trying to hold you to something you didn't say. But if you say there's gonna be this number of films, do that. If you said that you're gonna introduce these characters, do that. That's all.
Well,
I just want
we
consistency.
right, but we go back to the Blade news, right? Like, so just force a Blade movie, even though it's all going bad. Nah, bro,
We're talking about
scratch it.
DC though, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if they start something that's not looking good, then scrap it. I don't want bad quality movies because then that makes you stop looking at any of these superhero stuff. Like,
Well,
no.
I mean, I think for sure, as we were collecting, I feel like a lot of people that aren't collecting and they just follow the IP, right? They follow like Marvel
Yeah.
and DC and all these things, especially after 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, 3 Iron Man movies, like 2 or 3 Captain America movies. You reach that point of burnout, and you just get. I mean, come on, guys, like we need a little bit of a refresher here. I don't want to watch, especially like and I'll give you an example. I saw someone in the hobby post like I think it was like a Rotten Tomatoes like the review for like the Venom movies, right?
Yeah.
And they were showing a percentage, right? Like I forget what the first one was. I think it was like the mid 30%. The Venom movie was like 53%, and I'm like,
second
that
one, which
seems
the
a little
second one was
inflated.
worse than the first one, in my
That's a
opinion.
little inflated because I think that was the worst one of them all.
Yeah, I think so. And then this
And-
one is still in the 30s. Yeah, I saw that post.
The thing is too, like just the last point about what I was saying, man, is that like a perfect example that counters that is look at Star Wars. As soon as Lucas sold it off to Disney, you would think that people get tired of fucking Star Wars movies. And how many do they keep coming up with? And they keep making money.
Well, they stopped making movies.
I mean,
been a
shows,
while.
but it's still a lot of. My point is a lot of content revolving the Star Wars universe,
Yeah.
and people are still consuming that nonstop.
if it's not like a spinoff,
Same thing with exactly same thing with Game of Thrones. Now they have House of Dragons, and that still made money. And I'm sure they're going to come up with some other shit that has to do with that universe. So I don't think that people get burned out if they really enjoy something. I'm sure that to your point about the Venom movie, can they make a bad movie and miss? 100%. But if they still stick to what the storyline is, people keep coming back. I mean, those shows are perfect examples of it. And I think they're doing something now with even Lord of the Rings. They're bringing that back into like some animated thing.
Well, they're doing this whole franchise thing that's been happening. I don't mind if they keep going to certain franchise.
Avatar's another one.
I just hope that there's not not every movie feels the same, because in Marvel it's kind of been the case for me, at least the way I've recently watched them. And even though I did enjoy some that didn't get a lot of, I think there was some fatigue with some viewers where like they weren't as bad as some people would say just because they were let down by the Thor Love and Thunder or whatever. Like
that was the worst. That was the worst of them all.
There was some good movies there, but it made me stop running to go watch them. Eventually I'll catch them, right? But
I think that the Marvel thing, more than the bad writing and the the wokeness was also what Brian always said. Shout out to Marvel Cards Up about the cards, right? When he says, "One's everything special, then nothing special." I think the fact that before we used to go to the theater once a year, twice a year max to see a Marvel movie like Iron Man or the Hulk or whatever, it was an event. Now, when they're coming up with something every 3 months, that's what gives you the burnout. If they take their time with the projects, people will still show up because the quality will be there, And
it's all about quality, right? Like that's what it comes down to. And look, I don't want to get into it because we've talked about it, but this whole like using the whole woke thing they've been accused of, or people use as a scapegoat for like.
I think it's more than just being accused. I mean, it's on screen,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like shedding light on. Again, it's a bigger discussion. I'm not gonna have publicly because there's too much.
We don't have to have that.
Too many audiences who get upset about. I just feel like at a certain point, people were just throwing that label on anything, and just because they were trying to branch out of and cover different like demographics and like or having more, especially when you're talking about like movies that have more women on screen would get labeled with the whole wokeness. I watched the Marvels. It was a good movie. It was a fun movie. So I think overall the social media sphere used that whole woke label to belittle a lot of things that were taking different approach from the traditional point of view. And some of it, like you said, yes, justifiable, but a lot of it is just to bash things that look different, or they were taking risk and doing content for different demographics. And I didn't agree with it. Like, it is what it is. You either like a movie or you don't. I don't think it's that deep.
Well, listen,
We could pick it apart into different.
I'll give you one
pieces,
example. I'll give you one example that, like, again, not to get like too deep into that, but I remember, I think it was probably like a year ago, right before like the X-Men. I was sorry, Deadpool, Wolverine conversation. Before we knew all these things, I remember reading an article that from people that are pretty reputable, right? Like,
yeah.
I just remember reading.
Man, but who's reputable
There's
nowadays?
There's some reputable people that like do leaks and stuff like that. That like when they say like when they drop leaks, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I don't know if there any reputable people exist nowadays.
I think. Well, that's a little.
It's a different conversation, right? But go ahead, keep going, because I don't want to cut you off.
No, we'll end it with this. The only thing I will say is that you would feel a little bit different if you have kids too. You'd be a lot more mindful about what your kids are consuming.
And I'm not dismissing, like, obviously you guys have your own views, and I don't want to dismiss those either. I just felt like it was used as a crutch after a while. And I'm like, bro, we break down those movies, they weren't all that bad. Like, just people just didn't want to give them a chance. So it is what it is. Like,
to finish the point, I just remember that there was a person that's online that, again, like, usually when that person drops like leaks or like gives information, he's pretty accurate. Let's just put it like that, right? I'm not gonna say he's reputable. I take that word back. He seems to have a high accuracy rate with what he drops with leaks and, like, what ends up happening, stuff like that. And I remember them talking about wanting to change the name X-Men because they weren't including the other side. And I'm just like, guys, it's a fucking comic book, man. Like, you can't change what's already been done. Like, no matter what.
Yeah, just create something new. Create a different. Don't.
Make another.
I mean, I agree with that. Right, nostalgia. It's difficult to switch nostalgia up, right? And people get passionate about things staying the same. I think some big brands like X-Men, obviously, it has a huge fan base and like huge nostalgia for us. Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to rename that, but it's whatever. Like, we can get into different levels of criticism that people threw at the MCU, which it got ridiculous on many sides. I would say that much. I don't think it was all just everything's woke now.
No, I think it was what I said. I think it was a lot of things. To your point, I mean, a lot of them we covered. The fact that we're dropping too many projects in a short time span.
Yes. Not letting creatives actually
do their thing.
Do their view, right? Like, you sign them to create something in the way they create, in the image they create. Like, let them fulfill that.
I mean, it would be no different than you guys ordering a commission from Bill Sienkiewicz and then being, you know what? I don't like the way you're doing his arm. Can you fix that? Hey, I don't really like the way... Bro,
exactly.
And why the fuck did you ask for a commission from him?
Right. Like, if you ask for him, you're gonna get his world. Yeah, and trust it, and then stick it through.
Yeah.
Again, I agree with that for sure.
There you go.
But I'm looking for I'm sure. Yeah, like, we're not gonna have the other podcast. Look, we've had it behind the scenes, and I've always offered a different perspective on things.
Doom's definitely in LA.
Yeah, let's just say I
don't see. Well, it's publicly. I don't mind saying that. Like, I don't think that's a negative thing. But I support every person, whatever. Do your own thing. As long as it doesn't affect me, like, why do I care? Like, there's a lot of people who just want to keep the world a certain way, or throw certain things, or don't change this. I want this. Look, bro, just worry about you, my G. You know what I mean? Let people rock out. I don't take it too. I mean, look, we're not gonna get to what happened in the chat this weekend, but even me and Sergio went back and forth on the topic.
Let's not talk about the WNBA. Let's not talk about the WNBA.
Right, and I enjoyed watching WNBA. Shout out to New York Liberty. You know what I mean?
I don't even play basketball,
Sabrina's
but
the
I feel
GOAT,
like I could have made some of those shots, which is crazy.
It's wild that you feel that way too, because they smoke you in real life. You can't shoot.
They
like
probably
that.
would.
Come on,
they
dog.
probably would.
Just give people their respect. You know what I mean? Let them rock up.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Yeah.
But you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a certain, reaction like, oof, who hurt you, my G? Like, damn.
I don't know. Me and Sergio kind of know dude's button, and it's actually the opposite. We're starting to figure out that that's a little sensitive area for him. You know, it's wild.
No, it's not sensitive. I just get tired of the same repetitive thing. But
who's around you besides us that keeps telling you the same things, which is crazy.
No, not just. I'm saying social media in itself. Like you can go down that path and look at a certain. Like if we're studying our own demographic, people in the 30s and 40s, man, like there's similar topics that pop up on social media when some of these I guess topics come up. I mean, there's a similar perspective. I'm like, bro, some of it you're just hurt. Some of it I'm with you, but not everything's black and white. That says more about you than me. Like, I don't know.
All I'm saying is that I feel like I could have made some of those passes. That's all I'm saying. Maybe not gone out of bounds. That's all I'm saying. No, it was actually just for context. It was actually a pretty funny video. Somebody posted, like I guess like the WNBA finals are going on, and the comment was obviously they're being facetious, they're trying to be funny, but so just for context, the video that we're discussing was somebody posted a video of like a screen recording of the the WNBA finals, and the comment was, "This is the best they have," and it's just like a full like minute and a half uncut, just like going for the layup, missed the layup, throws the ball out of bounds, throws the ball in, there's a turnover, and it was just like it honestly looked like a circus, to be honest, and not to offend anyone. Hey, like I guess that's the best they do have, right? But it's obviously just social media being social media.
This is why we can't have this discussion because. Let's not get into it. You don't even watch basketball, bro. Look, there's a clip yesterday from the Wizards. They had they did 3 turnovers, the same thing. And then at the end, they throw a shot and it breaks. There's the air ball. Like, I can go and pick apart LeBron, 2 minutes, and he's looking like a dumbass out there. Like,
Sergio, didn't you hear what Michael Jordan said? He missed 30,000 shots just to make 500 or some shit like that?
Bro, yeah, but he wasn't. But he wasn't doing that shit in the finals, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, you're not lying. You ain't lying about that.
You guys are wild, bro.
You did clutch.
Look, again, to each their own. I enjoyed watching the basketball. I don't care if it's men or women, whatever. I'm enjoying it.
100%.
And it doesn't affect me like it affects some people. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when certain people get affected, I'm like, oh, dog, what's wrong with you? Like, okay.
Oh, no, we're having fun.
Yeah. No, all right.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is.
But shout out to what were we talking about?
Shout out to the WNBA. You guys are killing it.
Shout out to Sabrina.
Your viewership must be crazy.
Yeah, you guys are wild. See, I don't know how long. Again, if you guys really want to hear that, go support these guys and make them do their own podcast. Yeah. I don't know how many viewers will stay on after a while, but they'll definitely give you something to talk about.
I think you'd be surprised. I mean, look, maybe not.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look around. There's, some of that stuff is popular. Just getting views on the outside. I've seen a couple podcasts that treat certain topics a different way, and they get a lot of views for sure.
Hey, really quick though, back to some hobby news. In all seriousness, and again, just for the people that are out there, like, hey, look, I may, there's a saying out there that says, sometimes when you make a joke, there's just a little bit of truth, And that's kind of like what it is. I mean, obviously it's, I have, and to Dune's point, because he mentioned but I grew up around a bunch of women. So did I, man. But you cannot laugh at the 2 minutes of just air balls and turnovers.
But we ain't even throw that in the conversation. You're fully shit from the chat. Look, here's my perspective. I grew up around 2 older sisters, right? I think just my perspective is a little different than some other men out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up with majority aunts, and I grew up with two male cousins, in my whole family. So
yeah, but I think that's not everyone has that experience. You know what I mean? I think I grew up with two older sisters and a mom and a dad, right? My sister's always been there for me, and they're always, somewhat role models, right? They're always been there and locking, the house down and support system in the
the
family.
matriarch, the
Right.
matriarch.
Really, really supportive. And we come from a Hispanic family. Like, we treat our elders differently,
Listen,
or specific
in
ways.
Hispanic families, the men might think they're in charge, right? They
But
may
the
think
women
that's
run
role,
that
but
shit.
really the
Yeah,
women run that shit.
exactly. Now, I get the whole angle when we're doing jokes, and the whole machismo thing is a thing in like Hispanic and Mexican households
I just think
too.
I just think it's okay just to have a laugh at it and
Yeah.
just like just move on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it
because
doesn't
in
mean that
comedy,
I'm like
if you can't laugh at anything, to me, you have to be able to laugh
Well,
at anything.
but y'all were throwing that shit at someone who loves basketball. I like, what? Like, did you watch the series? Now you're going after something I'm passionate about.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to after that.
You mean like the 1989 Batmobile?
What about 19? I mean, look, it's your favorite. It's a lot of people's favorite. Yeah, no, for sure. But you have a popular opinion. I just, I embrace the Batman animated side, and lately I've been telling you the Tumblr is probably my favorite now.
Yeah,
that video.
I'm not always following the sheep. I got my own opinions. I can think for myself sometimes.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I mean, I guess we're being called sheep now, Sergio, which is crazy.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if there was a cult for certain things, I might be questioning it, and some of y'all might be following. You know what I mean? Like this, so. That's all I'm saying.
And you know what? And some people may say, that it may be the other way. So,
no, look,
but on some hobby news, man.
I love having different opinions because it makes the conversation interesting.
No, of course, and again, that's like
But if you come at me with one perspective on everything in life, my G, I'm looking at you sideways, like someone hurt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's the cool thing again about us as a friendship here is that again and we saw it last week, we see it in our own group chats and all that good stuff, like whether we're bashing Free for sleeping with the enemy or
what?
We
wait, what? I think I missed that part. What?
We have a tendency to have.
I don't know what they say, Free, but yo,
you're gonna have to wait for the
hope you good,
to play it back. We have a tendency to have different opinions, and the one thing that's like dope about it is that we may make a joke about whatever, but we accept each other's different opinions.
Hey, and on that note, man, not that I want to jump on Free real quick or anything, but the fact that on that chat that he's talking about, because we can't mention what we're talking, it's a private chat, but I will say that in one of the messages that Free sent us, he was alluding to us being conspiracy theorists, which was fucking wild of him to tell us that. I was like, oh, that's crazy. All right, well, I'm definitely not turning off my Wi-Fi at night or anything like that.
That's crazy. I'm definitely not in the conspiracy. I find that amusing, but there's definitely levels to it, and you guys run across all those levels. I'll say that. That's a nice way of saying it.
There's people that are even beyond our levels.
We
call those flat earthers.
I'll tell you, like on a military standpoint, like when you start kind of learning, when you start opening your eyes a little bit more to certain things, right? It's not just like a 1 dimension, 2 dimension, right? Like there's other shades of gray in between, and sometimes some of those conspiracies end up being conspiracy truth, but you'll be called crazy until.
And then to Doom's point about thinking on his own and not following the sheep, I mean, the sheep is actually the people that are not thinking about
the sheep. The sheep are the one that said, no way. They're like, you're crazy,
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I do think, well, on that topic, like a lot of people really, you say opening their eyes, but some of these people fall for illusions, so you just got to be.
And vice versa, my brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people think they're opening, seeing something new, and they're like, no, bro, you're just making it up. But that's where, the balance and having some of these conversations comes in, because it does help out to hear everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever get that honest with this podcast, unfortunately. or fortunately. Quite frankly, I don't know how many of these people want to know what they really believe. Let's just keep it to the topics we have.
And then, unfortunately, here's the bad thing about that even if we got into those topics, there's no way of even knowing ourselves who was right to begin with.
No, it's all theories and perception and perspective and just assumptions. It's again, we're never gonna know. Although some of these people they're just hurt. Let me go back to that. There's just a lot of hurt people.
Who are these people, dog, that are hurt? Who are you?
No,
I don't.
Around. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Wow.
Anyone who thinks they know it all right.
Definitely.
The most intelligent person in the room is the one who admits they know nothing.
But I will say, whether you think you're on the sheep side or not, right? Like I've just learned, on to finish that note about the military, it's not about being on one side or the other. And this actually goes to many things, including the hobby and all this other stuff. It's okay to just question everything. Don't take things at face value. Some of those comments prove that statement, because obviously some people were drinking the Kool-Aid, and then they they're like, it's a little off.
And also, I'm gonna give the other side because you guys know me. It's also okay not to question everything because ain't nobody got time for that. Just do your own thing. Just keep it moving. I don't need to know what the world is doing. I can't affect it. So look, I can control what I can control. And whether you like to know about other stuff, okay, that's on you. That's your hobby.
But look, really quick to stay on track with the hobby stuff, man. I know, Tim just got back, and I wanted to do a reveal today, but I'm like, you know what? I kind of just don't want to feel like being on camera today. We'll do a little reveal from what Tim sent me next week. Shout out to him. I know he's on vacation, man. Like, yo, Tim, enjoy that. Time with family is important. Time away to disconnect from life and all that stuff is important. I will be doing that here pretty soon. I have a little bit of PTO coming up. I'm going to start it off with an event that, just a little extra cashola before, the holidays, stuff like that. And then, I'm going to spend like a nice little 9-10 day stretch of just being away. And it was kind of last minute, kind of like last second decision. It was either like, hey, Sergio, either use your PTO days or you're going to lose them. And since you're not going to pay me for them, and you're not going to let them roll over, let's just go out with a bang. You know what I mean? And just use them all. And, I'm pretty excited for that, man, because to the point of what we talked about with the whole burnout, stuff like that. I mean, man, there's moments where I felt like I was smoking to kind of just knock off that edge of like going to work, And, man, my industry's hard, man. I'm a little burnt out, to be honest, just to put it out there with you guys. And I've just felt like really burnt out with like work. And I think, once it starts with like work stuff, it kind of rolls over into other things, which is why I've kind of taken a step back from the hobby, why I'm not really on people's pages like that. And the people's pages thing, just to be honest, it's not even like, I hate Marvel. I love Marvel. Like Marvel is my my number one for sure. But I'm just tired of, the burnout of the cards, the things we talked about, all that good stuff. I'm just like burnt out from it, and recently, I actually had to pull a trigger because, that thing that I've been watching for the past 2-3 weeks, and I don't know, maybe I could be right. I could be wrong. It could be from some of the things that we discuss and talk about, because magically you go online, something you've been looking at, you mention something, you talk about something, and then it kind of just starts getting bought out. Yeah, just kind of just disappearing, and I had to pull a trigger today because I hopped online and 3 items were missing that were in my wait list, and I was like, oh yeah, that's how you want to play the game? Okay. So I reached out to the seller. I'm like, hey man, let's pull the trigger on this. Let me know what the price is. Let me know if you can give me a discount. Just like a funny experience though, just to share like a eBay experience with you guys. The funnest experience is always when you have a seller that places something on offers, right? And just to kind of test the water, you're like, you know what? let me throw an offer. You know, the first one's for sure going to be a low ball, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you know, it was. I think it was a pretty fair low ball, right? Especially when you send the message and tell the guy like, "Hey, I'm about to purchase like 10 books." You know what I mean? Like, give me some love. And you know, the first offer got denied. Then I threw like another $1 in there. That got denied. Then I threw another $1 and that got denied. Threw another, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you have this on offer, but you're literally only like you're like 50 cents away from your OBO, you know?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, man, like, you know, what is your best price? Because I'm not gonna like, you know, offer myself out and like lock myself out of the item because you want to play around and put OBO, but be like 50 cents from the original price, you know?" At that point, it's not an offer, my brother. You might as well just put it on buy now, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, he reached out to me, and you know, big shout out to him, man. Like, you know, I do have a big appreciation for you know, the Japanese culture with you know, when it comes to honor, when it comes to respect. And I reached out to him. I said, "Look, man, I'm going to be real with you. You have way too many items that I want to buy. Obviously, what's stopping me from pulling the trigger on a couple of other items is simply just shipping, because the shipping is so expensive for that many items."
Yeah.
And you know, I hope, you know, my message to him was, I hope that, you know, you can take these 10 books and, you know, just shoot me a couple bucks, man. Throw me a bone here. You know, I'll be a repeating customer. I just kind of want to see where you're at, because, you know, and I showed him I sent a screenshot of like him being like 50 cents away from like the final number. I'm like, my man, like, what are we doing? You know? And, you know, he shot me some love. He shot me back a message. He's like, "Hey, look, you know, I appreciate you reaching out. This will be the final price. This will be shipping. Let me know if you accept. And just so you know, after he took off that, you know, that discount, if you want to buy a few more books, man, let me know. And, you know, we can still add on and it'll still be the same price." So, you know, big shout out to him, man. You know, I do appreciate that. But like, you know, as much as I was trying to be patient, you know, thankfully, the things that whoever said person picked up,
Mm-hmm.
which if you're listening to this podcast, I see you. Okay. I see what you posted. You know, thankfully it wasn't busted, right? It wasn't what I was initially like solely aiming for. It was kind of like a side quest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy with the fact that he bought the Schnickel Fritz and I picked up the real shit, you know? So yeah, man, you know, like I'll share that here pretty soon. You know, now that I picked up, you know, I think I'm going to pick up another 2 books added on just to like, you know, cause the guy gave me a discount and, you know, just appreciation, man, you know, like, I do like dealing with those type of sellers, even though like the whole offer thing was annoying. The fact that he was like, "Hey, look, I understand. Let's make a deal." And, you know, we made a deal. And, you know, it's been my first like purchase like that since the Tim thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it felt good, man. It felt good to buy something. It was the purchase was thought out, right? It was made with intent. It was made with like a purpose. And I'm really happy with this recent purchase, man. I can't wait to showcase that to you guys and show and, you know, and share.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll share that with you. We'll just put that out there like that. You know, maybe obviously I might do like a, you know, a private, you know, amongst the homies box rip first.
Wait, you gonna talk about this thing and not let the people see it?
Well, I mean, the lurkers.
I thought you were the voice of the people, dog. What happened?
Oh man, I mean,
he's a gatekeeper.
If you guys want me to turn up,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't talk about it and then like people not see it after all. You know what I'm saying? Also, like, why did you know, shout out to the person who bought the Snickle Fritz, but why their shit got to be Snickle Fritz? You know what I mean? Like, that's a little fucked up. But
dude, you gotta trust me here.
Okay,
they didn't buy the good shit. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, yeah. Yeah, no, but look, it might be dope to them. You know what I mean?
Well, it definitely was. They bought it,
and I'm glad it's in their collection. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yo, speaking of, I will say this. I'm not in your step 2 phase, which is the purchasing. I'm still in the hunting mode. I showed Doom what I'm after, but it's something that's not Marvel related too. And it's a crazy feeling. I mean, you guys know the feeling, and I hadn't had this feeling in a while where I really want this fucking card. You know what I mean? And I'm looking for it all over the place. And then, you know, I found a couple people that have it, and they don't want to let it go, rightfully so. So I'm in the same exact place. I'm excited, but it's like that anxiousness where like, damn, I can't wait to own this. And I'm not there yet. So knock on wood, hopefully, you know, someone is willing to do a deal or a trade with me for something. But yeah, man, I'm looking to get some. And you know me, again, you don't got to tell me. As soon as I get it in the mail, you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. But I don't know how long it's going to take for me to acquire it.
So this week was, shout out to homie Brian. This week, I pull wire. People don't know who that is. Leo TMNT number 3 dropped. And I just kind of want to talk about, you know, if anyone's into Turtles, it was a good time to start with the new reboot that they started this year. And this is a little glimpse. The first TMT number 1 was about Raph and where Raph is. Long story short, he's locked up. He's in prison. And, you know, the ninjas came out to attack him and set him up for something. So he breaks out. The second one was about Mikey. Again, just, you know, I don't want to spoil it for people, just kind of, you know, get people interested in it. Mikey is a huge superstar in Japan. And, you know, he's doing all these films and shows. And again, you know, they come after him. So, you know, they're all trying to get to each other, brother, because they know they're going to get attacked. The third one that just came out this week being Leo. And these are all different artists doing the issue. So each issue has its own set of artists and interior work and its own set of like covers. But I believe on issue 6 we're going to get a regular artist who's going to be for the long run for at least, you know, I guess 12 issues or so. But yeah, Leo came out today. Raph is coming out next. I mean, not Raph, Donatello. And at the end, you know, they're all basically headed to go help Donnie out. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, that's what's happened. You haven't missed much. And, you know, it's a good time to pick up on that. Also this week was a bunch of the Absolute Wonder Woman was a huge thing this week. Shout out to the homie David. I've been following him for a while. Yeah. This is a dope account, David Lee Olivo. And he showed here the Absolute Wonder Woman is this is a Jim Lee cover. And this is the new story. I haven't checked it out yet, but it's getting a lot of good reviews. I did read the Absolute Batman came out, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and that was really good. Basically setting up this new Absolute world, and like they have different origin stories. So it's like everyone's, you know, it's a good jumping on point for that. And I point out this too, because he posted this, you know, being Halloween's next week, next Thursday. Frankencastle, it just looks sick to me. Again, I haven't read it, but just the artwork and the images here, that splash page right there, pretty sick.
Yeah.
Punisher is Frankenstein, pretty dope. And yeah, that's the Halloween vibe. So I might go and check this out and read it. But that was dope. He put some dope shit though. Make sure y'all follow him.
Shout out, yeah, I followed him for a while as well. Yeah, shout out to him. As far as movies, I'm looking forward to. I hear rumors about Christopher Nolan about to do a new film with Matt Damon and Tom Holland regarding vampires. So I kind of want to see his take on vampires because it's definitely not going to be, you know, that one vampire trilogy. What is it called again?
Which one?
The one that was Twilight. There you go. I'm sure it's not going to be that type of vampire movie. Hopefully, you know, with his history of filmmaking, it's probably going to be more dark, more realistic. So I'm looking forward to that. And then super hyped up for tomorrow for these UFC 308 with Max Holloway. and Robert Whitaker. I'm looking forward to those two fights, the co-main and the main event. I know Sergio's going to watch those too, right?
I'm definitely watching.
Yeah.
For some of you that you don't know, there's some of you don't know. I mean, like, listen, I've I participated in some combat sports. Like, it's something that I like and enjoy. Sometimes you fall out of habit, due to just life, man. Things that you get busy with, time, all that good stuff. But UFC, man, dude, I've been watching UFC since the days of that when that shit was on, like, what was it? What was that channel? Like Spike TV.
Spike TV,
yeah, man. I vividly remember, like, watching, like, UFC 1, 2, 3, the Ken Shamrocks, like, the Royce Gracie. Yeah, man. It's just I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. Max being the OG, hopefully he's not washed up, man. Like,
people keep saying there's only 32, dog, but I know in fighter years he's up there for sure.
Yeah, his body has a lot of miles, man. And I know that he's publicly said that he doesn't spar too much. Like, he doesn't take a lot of damage outside of camp, which is good. But in a UFC fight, just like I tell anybody else, man, anything can happen. A fight's a fight. And all it takes is just a miscalculation or a misclick, and it's lights out. So I'm excited. I'm a little antsy. I always, when it's like these big fights, man. Like, honestly, like, people tell me all the time, like, yo, you're really good at this shit. You should sports bet. But it's like, I don't.
You wouldn't enjoy the fights the same, if
right. Like, you wouldn't enjoy the fights the same if you had, like, parlays and all this other stuff. I have so many friends trying to convince me on it. I have a lot of friends that make money make good money doing that. But I think I'd rather spend my money in other ways. And,
yeah, bro, that's straight gambling.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But, if you hit one of those parlays, man, guess what? I'm going to be bringing a lot of books back over.
There's a lot of ifs, though. What if you don't?
Exactly.
Yeah, it could turn into uncut gems real quick.
That's what I'm saying, that's going to be earlier, right?
Yeah, because they're in Abu Dhabi, so it's going to be, I think, 11 a.m.
I'm gonna check it out. I don't really know the big fighters on this card, but I'll check it out. I enjoyed the last ones that came out. I know they weren't the best fights for a lot of people, but even the one they did in the Sphere was dope. Just the whole presentation.
Oh yeah, the Latino night.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was a sick one. Also, to all the wrestling. Now we're on topics. To all the wrestling people out there, NXT Halloween Havoc Sunday night. It's gonna be a lot of international stars, the new ones. You got Julia and you got Stephanie Vaquer, who came from the Mexican circuit. So there's gonna be some dope shit there.
Speaking of that, have you watched? Because we were talking about documentaries earlier with the Mignola. Have you seen the the McMahon documentary?
Yes.
How was that? Because I hear mixed things about it. Yeah, it
was good for me because I didn't know a lot of that. For a lot of people, like who are more aware of the history of WWF and WWE. It wasn't a lot of new stuff, but there was still some good stuff that they hadn't seen, especially like his relationship with his kids, with Stephanie and Shane. They had a whole episode. I think that was my favorite episode. But it was, it's a good, like, I would say it's a good documentary because they're gonna have Raw, Monday Night Raw on Netflix starting next year. It's gonna be live event on Netflix, so they're gonna, they're getting people into the whole world and history of WWE. That was a good doc, though. Really good doc.
I've been hearing a lot about it. That's why I brought it up. That makes sense. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've just seen, snippets that they show on Instagram or whatnot. And
100%. And this week was the beginning of the NBA season. So shout out to all the basketball guys out there. My squad won its first game, so that was great.
Nice.
I could get into it, but I know you guys don't fuck with basketball like that, so I'm just keep it moving. There's some things I saw this week that piqued my interest on YouTube. I don't know if you guys watched this, but I did want to go over them. The first one, shout out to YouTube channel Automatic Comics. I always promote them. I think they do. He does one of the best comic book investing like channels, and he just kind of keeps up with the market. But there's this new story with LeBron James publicly asking about comic books. He used to collect when he was younger, and Batman was his favorite. So he was just kind of asking people like, "Yo, what's the best way to get into comics?" Um, and he shows like there's other celebrities, Nick Cage being one who's always been into comics, and Eminem. Yeah. But this is a good like jumping on point in a beginner video if anyone's interested. All the different places to buy comics, so he kind of breaks it down. You got Heritage, you got the DC online one, you got the Marvel online, you got the Comic Connect and Comic Link. So yeah, I think he said this was his least favorite to bid on, Comic Connect. But
I've been on it once. My only gripe, and I think I mentioned it before, is how long their shipping time takes. Like from the day I won the auction, it literally took 2 months for me to have the books in hand.
Yeah, he talked about some of the like pros and cons of each. I thought it was a good like beginner type of if you want to get into comics. Nice. But he has dope videos all the time, and again he has one if most comic books should be graded or not. So one of the ones I like to follow. So do you think like someone like a big sports athlete like LeBron James or any other of these popular athletes get into it? Like I can see like there being a PSA celebrity thing when their comics books come out, right? Like this, because they push a lot of like the current baseball players who collect baseball cards, like Mike Trout has done like even grading like a video where he grades the cards of his PSAs. What do you like? I think they're gonna use that to promote their new comic book grading system. I don't know. Do you think it'll have any effect though?
If it does, to be honest with you, I mean, I don't know if Michael Rubin, who owns Fanatics, right? I don't know if he has LeBron James over at parties or whatnot, because I think he does white parties. If he does, and he's going to use them as an influence, to his advantage. It might look, if it has any impact in the market, I feel like it's obviously going to be on mostly golden age and silver age keys, because people that have that kind of money, they're going to go straight for the best shit. They're not going to. I don't think he's going to dive into the obscure niche stuff. You know what I mean? Like I definitely
don't use it like a portfolio thing, huh?
Yeah, blue chip stuff. Yeah, I don't see him like going after foreigns. You know what I mean? Personally.
Right. Yeah, whether genuinely, like, also that tweet could be probably not likely genuine. I'm sure there's some business behind it. So
for sure, because to your point earlier, like Nicolas Cage and Eminem have been collecting on the low for a while, and they've never come out.
At least Nicolas Cage seems to be like really about it, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But that's my point. Even he's not out trying to reach out to PSA or anybody to try to get anything.
Right, right. He's out at a con and like with the people and stuff. So
and honestly, it's always dope to see like actors or something like really just kind of get into it, because I don't know if that started prior to him being the Gold Ghostwriter and all that good stuff conversation. But it's cool, man. It's cool to see other people do it. Some people will talk about, hey, like, like looking for opportunities to make a buck on the fact that people are posting about that stuff because it's, going viral or something like that. But it's just nice to see organically people like collect,
Yep. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we've seen like celebrities come out, and I think it was, who was it? Even people like Big Sean saying he was like best friends with James Gunn from DC.
If I was famous, I'd have a lot of best friends too.
Well, I think they were neighbors, and he's genuinely like a comic book nerd, I think. Well, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Again, it's either you believe these people or not.
And you also, let's be honest too. Like, I mean, we don't know, right? Again, not to get into conspiracies, but in general, like, because I think I've heard before Eminem say that he was like he's collected like tapes right? He went back and collected like actual tapes, and and all these celebrities saying they collect. Now, when they say collect, again, do you really feel, because they got the money to go however deep they want? Do you really think that they're collectors? And again, like I was telling Sergio, or Doom Sergio, you missed it a little bit, but I was telling him, like, are they going to go to the obscure stuff, or do you think these guys are just like surface level collectors, if they are?
Nah, I think it. I mean, if I had to take a guess, if I had to just like take a shot in the dark here, I think they probably just like kind of scratch the surface at vanilla level.
Yeah.
I think they probably just base off of like, hey, what's popular? Can I get it in a PSA 10? Can I get it in a CGC 98, 99, whatever? I guess now, yeah. I was just gonna say, man, like, I think a lot of, I don't know, like if I had to take a guess, most people, just like any other collector that just hops in, is gonna probably be on that like scratch the surface vanilla level, But when you look at, like, for example, Eminem's collection, that's not something that takes a little bit of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His cassette collection, stuff like that, is, some stuff is just not easy to find. So it's probably something that he's been doing for a long time. But it is cool to see other people do it.
Yeah, I think they said he's rumored to be one of the owners of a 9.6 Action Comics #1,
Wow.
or the first Superman. They think it's him, so he's buying like big pieces too. And then the other one that people always talk about is Leonardo DiCaprio, because I think his dad was an underground artist and has like his own zine or his own comic. So he's a comic book collector.
Speaking of, who'd you say owns the nine, or rumored to own the 9.6?
Eminem.
Speaking of that, did you know that someone stole that from Nicolas Cage? Action Comics
Yeah,
#1. Yeah, back in the day, I guess someone broke in and stole a bunch of his PC.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear about that. I wonder. Yeah, it's interesting that LeBron posted that, and I guess we'll see what comes after. Also, I do, even though I'm not following as much Marvel cards, shout out to Upper Deck for displaying their sets on YouTube. I know they did a lot of Twitch streams. Now they're being on YouTube. I don't know how many people actually watched it from the current hobby or care about it, but I like this move more than the Twitch thing. Put it on YouTube, promote the actual set that they're releasing, and I hope they do this with DC. I did. This is my first chance to look at the new annual because I haven't
Yeah.
watched any box breaks or any case breaks, and I do like a lot of these designs. Like, I feel it's kind of bittersweet. Like, unfortunately, their license runs out when they're producing the best design cards, in my opinion. And I really like a lot of these inserts they've been doing. The way they design the base cards too doesn't feel. It feels like it has a lot more attention to detail in the way they crop certain images out and lay out the artwork. But shout out to them. I feel like it's a good step.
Yeah.
It's a good step. This that's pretty neat. That Venom. Yeah, I just think they're doing pretty cool shit. So
Yeah. To your point, though, just a little bit too late. At least for the Marvel side.
for the Marvel, yeah. But I can't wait to see the DC stuff just to look at it. Well, a lot of this is dope, and they talk about their process too. So I like that they're showing their faces, they're showing the cards, they're putting it on YouTube, not just being obscure and holding it on Twitch only. Like, I think they deserve credit for that move. Although I'm sure it hasn't got tons of views, 89 views. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I think that's the right move.
Yeah.
And last week, Sergio mentioned, like, like, people don't really show the deals, right? And then show like the actual people throwing information out there. I wanted to make an effort to shout out someone I think does a great job informing people. This is Mark. I collect things at I collect things on YouTube. He opens all kinds of non-sports products, and he has this video here where he's kind of breaking down the what a secret lair for Marvel collectors is. Like, what is a Magic the Gathering secret lair drop, which is going to be the way they distribute some of these Marvel cards. So this is a good informational video. I don't know how many people actually follow him that follow Marvel cards or DC cards, but yeah, Mark does a dope job just opening stuff and laying out information. And he
You
does.
recently found this channel, or you've been watching it for a
No,
while?
I've been watching this for a long time. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's I just love the way he sets it up. It's straight to business, and he's going in and he's breaking it down. He's familiar with the. I actually I found him when I started opening the HRO DC stuff. He was doing it every set, and he would get like the uncut sheet and stuff. And he's into Magic the Gathering, but he opens up like anything non-sports really. Like he's got Topps Chrome.
It reminds me of the Random Collector. Remember from Marvel that he would open every Marvel product back in the day.
But for him, I think this is the type of creators that I wish there's more of, where it's mostly informational. Like, it's not really about opinions here. He's kind of just showing you every product and like telling you, hey, this is what you get, this is what happens, this is what you pull, and straight to business. There's no BS. So
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, and I do stand on that. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of like non-sports stuff going on. And really quick, just shout out to Amanda. I know she reposted our video the other day. If you could just go on her page really quick, man. Like, I go through her page and I have an appreciation for what she posts, because
Great gamer.
She
on
is
IG, but also YouTube. Make sure y'all check out YouTube. She does a lot of her live shows from Whatnot to her YouTube now. There's live streams where she kind of shows all kinds of non-sports stuff.
She posted like the horror. What was it, like the horror masterpiece or something like that? Like, it was something going on.
The monster masterpieces. Yeah, that's where I saw it too. Yeah,
and sure. I'll be honest. Like, Amanda, if you're listening, I know that you reposted this the other day. I liked, like, the other day she posted like some Bernie Wrightson cards, and like, just she's very deep into like some of these
well-rounded. Yeah, look, when I came into the hobby, shout out to her. Yeah, like her, Turkey Birdies, and Michael Salzer, Cold Card Life, were the only people that I knew that were grading heavy. Like, I remember reaching out to her and the two others as well, like, for advice, because I had just got into Marvel and she was grading a bunch of stuff. Like, she's one of the only few that I've seen that's graded Pogs as well before, like Michael Jordan Pogs. So yeah, she definitely gets into a bunch of stuff, which is dope.
And I will say that, to finish on that note, regardless of whether she does have a lot of like Marvel stuff, it's so refreshing to see someone rip something else. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Like, she keeps it fresh. She likes her sport, she likes her hockey. And you know what? I may not like it. I may not like that, but I like that for her. Because she's into a lot of different stuff, and go show her some support. Go show some love to her channel, man. She has a lot of cool stuff on there. And I really like that she this is just different. Like, this may not be for me, but it's just something new.
I did try to look for a La Llorona. I wanted to possibly collect from the set, but they didn't have one. So,
nice.
Although that was dope. Again, monsters from different mythology. This is what this is, and it's just one artist who did their thing. But yeah, they have Silver Spectrum autos and like sketches, and they had these like vintage poster cards, which are dope. Probably my favorite ones from the set. But yeah, pretty cool stuff.
It reminds me kind of the Tony Perna Halloween stuff he does.
Yeah. Perna has his Perna Studios. They do some dope sets and a bunch of great sketch artists. So yeah, definitely shout out to Perna.
Yeah.
The other thing I would like to do, because again,
and I know Johnny's a big fan of that too, man.
Yeah, horror. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know Johnny's big into that too.
And we were gonna have Johnny for the Halloween episode, but I think we're gonna have to push it to the week after. But we're gonna have Johnny show up. He's gonna show some of his Transformers collection, and we'll talk to him a little bit about horror. He can, go into like his favorite horror films.
Personally, I think we've said it before, but I mean, maybe we'll have him on recurrently to go through his different parts of his collection because he's probably one of the also most well-rounded collectors as far as how many genres he dips his toes in. He has the Transformer stuff. He has diecast. He has like Japanese obscure toys. He has the horror stuff. Yeah, he has a bunch of things, man. And I wish, obviously on his own IG, he mostly posts Marvel, but it'd be dope if he started posting some of his other stuff.
Yeah, he showed me there's TMNT van as a Transformer, which now, I might have to get. So it's pretty sick. But I did want to do a shout out to, again, most of the stuff I watch now is just TMNT related, and like looking at a lot of these artists and just possibly like finding other styles that I want to commission down the road. But I want to shout out Danny Earls, and people may have seen his artwork in the past. He does some Batman and specifically for me, these TMNT variants. This is like the original artwork. This is not the cover. The covers, it has, it's colored and everything, but this Raph connecting with the Mikey for the second one, you get to see like the city and like all these little details.
The architecture.
Yeah, architecture. I love New York. The van here, New York. The Laird Avenue for Peter Laird. Like, there's a lot of
the graffiti on the fucking.
Yeah, you got Bebop and Rocksteady right there. You got a little pizza here. And then the third one just came out with Leo. New York City comics, a lot of pizza references. Is this the one? Yeah, here we go. You got a rat right here. That's pretty sick. It's
the next one, I think.
It's just dope. Oh yeah, you have another right here. Yeah, but and the one that's coming out, the Donatello, you got like a fight, right? Like a mini Splinter there. But it's cool. Like I love the connecting set that he's doing with each variant copy. Shout out to Brian who picked up the Leo one, and like I need to go get this. Probably the variant I'm gonna go with for each copy I get. That's my favorite one outside of like Kevin Eastman version.
Yeah.
But this is how it looks when you actually get it. But this dude is sick. I like a lot of his artwork. He has this Batman Adventures continues cover that so sick, black and white. Like, that's dope, man.
Again, I'm more so. I was telling you, like, I'm more impressed. He's definitely a dope artist with the characters, but I'm more impressed.
Architecture,
like his architecture, his buildings, attention to detail is crazy.
It's crazy, and it's the TMNT is one of the most fun ones I've seen him do. You can see him. These are all taped together. But yeah, sick. Just want to shout him out. And go follow him if you're not following him, you're into it. He does a lot of artwork for nostalgia for our age. So he does, I believe, does some Marvel stuff here and there too. But super talented dude. Love his stuff. I wonder if he did a Hellboy because he has a Hellboy figure there.
And really, really quick, I had to bust Zoom's balls a little bit, even though, like, he knows obviously I'm playing around, but that Comic Images Mignola cover.
You mean the one I posted?
Yeah, it's something that we mentioned here before.
Let's go to it.
And I can definitely tell you, that's not something that you see every day.
Well, you saw what Donovan posted, right? 2 out of 3.
He says he has one. No, I'd have to see it. You know what I mean?
2 out of 3, dog.
No, I'd have to see it. I
Again,
haven't seen it posted.
Mignola. Someone I'll say it again. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole and like read a bunch of it. I just mostly know the covers and this story that Triumph and Torment with Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, but the artwork is what pulled me into this. Like, this is easily my favorite Doom comic book, or I guess in this case a graphic novel because it's only a graphic novel. I don't know what the distinction is. I'm not that educated to understand if they
This is
call these
above
comics
the Daredevil Doom cover you've always liked?
Daredevil Doom cover. Yeah,
Okay.
but just in itself as a book that I actually read the whole way through, and like I
Okay.
love every. It's the artwork that pulled me in, and then the story being about his mother, like really, like that cemented it.
My initial goal with this book, I mean, just if you look at the color scheme, right, like on the sides and like even just like the print, the trade dress, was to get Mignola to sign it. I think, I mean, I've only ever seen 2. So if Donnie Boy, if you have one, I don't know when you bought this, but this probably has to go back for me and do it probably like 2 years ago, right?
I don't know. It's been a while. If it's 2 years, it flew by, but definitely over a year. And
it's definitely been more than a year. It's been like I think it's
feel
been 2.
old, bro. Yeah.
But initially
I
I wanted to get Mignola to sign it, but man, this guy's he's kind of hard to come by. Like.
Well, that's and he shout out to Mignola. He just had his he had an exhibition in he had an exhibition at the Philippe Lebon Gallery in New York. A lot of people who went to New York Comic Con were able to get in there the last couple of days. It's closing tomorrow, but they had like a lot of artwork up there. He had like his own gallery, which man, I wish I was able to go. This is one of the few things I would go outside to go, even though I don't like going.
But just to continue the path of friendship that that we have with some people. If you're a listener, man, what I mean, and you go out to one of the cons and this guy, shoot me a link, bro. Help me out, help a brother out, and I'll do the same. Like if you see something, hey, MegaCon that you may not be able to make it, and you want to get something sent out, I mean, reach out. I can't do everybody's stuff, but like, hey, if you're the homie, just reach out.
Bro. They had I think there's an art book that you can order. It's called Hell Ink and Water. The art Mike Mignola. They had a specific one available at the gallery in person, and there were I think 500, either 300 or 500 autographed copies. Yeah, bro, I wish I wish I could get my hands on one of those. But yeah, Mignola's the shit. Mignola, Sienkiewicz, and I'm trying to find other people that I feel as passionate about. Yeah, obviously Bruce Timm. Finch is up there for me too. But I still have a long way to go in actually doing homework on, because this is all new to me. So yeah, those guys are awesome.
Definitely, man. Yeah, but that's a cool one, and I busted balls a little bit, but whatever. I mean, dude, we've had it for 2 years. I'm telling you, dude, it's been like 2 years that we've had that.
I've never seen one either.
I've never seen another one pop up, and I think it's one of my blue dots. So I mean,
and the thing about that is that was released in 1989 as a graphic novel. There's a hardcover edition which I have, really nice. It's like a leather bound one with the cool cover in it, and maybe paperback, and that's all it came out as. There was no single issue, so that being like a price guide that featured it is pretty interesting, right? Because you don't see it.
Cool.
You don't see that image outside of the graphic novel.
And to some of you guys out there, man, like these are kind of like the obscurity things that we talk about, because a lot of people would have just bought the trade paperback, or they would have just bought whatever. But we checked out. I think at the moment I was checking out like previews, like some of those previews books that have like the diamond insert.
Yeah,
and I
there's a
was,
lot of those out there. Yep.
I was going through a lot of advanced comics, like, and again, like the way that I just found that was literally, like I said, type in advanced comics and just fucking doom scroll just all the way down, And yeah, I mean, I've only ever seen two. I don't know, Donnie boy. I don't know how recently or how long ago you bought that, but if you did pick one up, man, congrats. I guess you collect Doom. Um,
Wow.
That's a crazy.
He just collects dope shit, dog. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just saying, congrats. I said congrats, no?
Yeah. You sound very possessive about this. I don't know.
No, brother, you can't.
You sound a little worried.
Yeah, there's a little nervousness I hear.
Nah,
okay. We're gonna let that slide. We're gonna keep it pushing. Go ahead.
Listen. 2 years ago, as obviously we've already moved on. You know what I mean? So, but nah, man. If you have one, man, yeah, big shout out to you, man. But I really want to get that book signed. Just because it's like, obviously probably like the first, let's call it, bunny ears appearance of that image, probably because it's probably before the book came out, which is pretty dope. And yeah, I mean, those are the things that, like, really, like, again, and we always talk about this kind of stuff, like, the numbers and all this other BS, like, to me, like that's more of a gem to me than some other stuff that's out there,
Yeah.
So, it's just interesting. It's just something different, like again, to your point, and we talked about, when we were on the conspiracy topic about sheep and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so much less worried about a number than I am just like finding cool shit,
Yeah.
And I think that hopefully this podcast and pretty soon, I think we're gonna have an EP on how to dig. No, we're gonna have a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an idea you two have really brainstormed about, having a how to dig video or digging 101. Sharing a little, some methods you go about doing it. I think it'll be its sole video in case people do want to see it. People, I don't want to shove it down. People will listen to the podcast because this is a very specific topic. But yeah, and let's see.
I think it was similar to like the Forens and the Batmobiles. Like they didn't have to see the whole Batmobile, but if they're interested, they definitely watched it.
Yeah. Or we can make it part of a podcast. I think it works itself. I feel like those should have been its own thing. That way they're, only solely its topic, and I don't know. I like when they're segmented off.
But I definitely will say, like, compared to things that we've done before, guys, these are legitimately things that like excite us. This is what makes like us collectors like tick. And I can't say collectors collectively, but like these three gentlemen here in this room, obviously two, including myself. These are the things that make me tick. These are the things that like keep me up at night. These are the things that I mean, yeah, like this is why I collect. It's I stepped away from the whole number thing, whatever. I'm looking for things that are scarce. I'm looking for things that you don't see every day. And I'm not doing it to impress anyone. It's just for me, man. Like, this is just for me. And I hope that with that being said, you guys continue to do your thing for you, not to appease someone else or try to be part of some like, club or something like that. Just collect just collect as you like it, man. And I know, we always talk about how stupid that saying is, but legitimately, like, do it because you enjoy it. And, I think that's the way, you know what I mean? That's the way to do it.
Yep.
This is the way.
It's fun to see what people find and obscure things people find. It's always fun to check that out. Yeah, bro. Let's do shout outs and anti shout outs.
Not a pretty long episode, and we didn't have nothing to talk about again.
Yeah, it was again. Well, I lined some stuff up that I want to get out the way, and I just want to showcase that because it's just stuff that is interesting to me. Maybe it's interesting to other people.
Yeah.
And I would like to, if you guys find stuff or come across things during the week that interest you, let's talk about it. Let's let the people know.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you know me, again, as soon as I get what I'm looking for, I'll definitely show it, but I can't show it when I don't have it yet.
Oh, yeah. And since we're going to shout outs and anti shout outs, I do. Sergio started off for us as always, but while I pull up some of the ones I want to show from some of the homies.
Mm.
But as always, you go first, though.
Something that obviously, and again, I don't mean to be so secretive, but big shout out to Free. Me and Free closed a deal that we've been, kind of back and forth on for quite a bit. He's happy, I'm happy, and when things like that like turn themselves out like that, it's
Nice, man.
That's what it's about, man. It's another chapter closed in the Doom collection, and I honestly, man, like just knowing Free for quite a while now, I know that the only reason why that deal went down the way it did is because of the type of collectors that we are collectively, both me and him. So big shout out to him, man. Like, obviously I'm definitely going to unbox that whenever it comes to me. I'll share that with you guys. And, if it happens to make it, before the next episode, whenever we record, then I'll do the unboxing of, Free's package, and I'll do the unboxing of Tim's package for my commission. And, let me see. So shout out to Free on the anti shout. I'll be honest, I'm all anti shout out from last week's episode. Again, I just been like relatively been laying low from following people. So again, guys, sorry if you guys tag me on something and I don't see, or maybe I do see it and like I don't repost. I apologize, man. Like it's I got other things going on just like everybody else. Still got love for you guys, but it's just life, man.
So what I'm hearing, people have some responses and you haven't responded to them.
That statement might be true.
Oh wow. Well, I hope you get to them. You are the voice of the people, so I assume you'll get to them eventually. So.
But yeah, those are that's my shout out, anti shout out.
Nice.
Nothing but love for you guys, man. Again, I appreciate the feedback from the last episode, and we're gonna just, as always, man, we're gonna try to keep it as real as we possibly can. And that's it. What more can you ask from us?
Yeah, shout out to Johnny. Shout out to Obi. Shout out to Kamikaze Cards. Someone reached out to me earlier this week, and just shout out to everybody that's still enjoying the hobby, that's still just focused on their goals and just just positivity, just showing what they're passionate about. Shout out to everybody that's doing that. Anti shout outs, I don't really have any anti shout outs today, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that for me.
All right, cool. Again, shout out to some of the homies who got some sketches. As far as anti shout out, big anti shout out to Anthony Comic Book Art. I believe that's his shit. He's a rep for Eastside. Ribbage. Long story short, commissioned sketch card from him for Eastside, which was almost 2 years ago. The guy sucks at his job. Terrible. I have nothing positive to say about Anthony Snyder. So
he's the artist or the rep?
No, he's a rep. And
wait, is that the guy that does the comic art live all the time?
Yes. Okay. And I bought from him before, which sometimes wasn't an issue, but just this whole experience, I'm not gonna lie, it's I'm not keeping the card just because the experience was that bad. And if anyone's looking for a Dr. Doom, God Emperor Doom, Eastside sketch, it will be up for sale. I would never advise anyone to go through him to get any commission done.
Yeah.
Terrible. And I just listened to, again, I always bring up the 11 o'clock comics because it's just one of my favorite comic book podcasts. Those guys also, like one of them who's always getting commissions in New York Comic Con for many, many years. they also had a huge part in the latest podcast where they're also like, yeah, criticizing him and the way he's set up, the way he treats. Apparently, he treats his workers there pretty harsh, like in public, and it's just bad. One of the biggest dealers in the comic art, original art world, but I'll never buy shit from him ever again.
Yeah, and it sucks because some of the pieces that I have, some of the OA that I have, like that you guys have seen,
Yeah,
I got from them with no problem.
yeah,
So
me too. I bought
it
him
must
with no
be.
problem, but the commissions was a whole different experience, and
Mm,
he's got a lot of negative reviews from people because of some of those experiences. Big anti shout out. But yeah, that's just me, Doug. And that's it. Everyone else, shout out to Vic. Obviously, the homie Vic was out there.
Vic was wild the other day. You know,
Vic was in where was he? In the East
Boston,
Coast. Yeah,
yeah,
repping
Massachusetts.
that Lakers. You know what I mean?
in a
Respect
convertible,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
with the top down.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Vic is crazy. And shout out to all the homies. To all the homies supporting.
That chat was going crazy. You know, like I hadn't even sipped my coffee yet, and we was like, you know,
I was about to go to sleep when that shit started.
How
yeah.
you go? Wait, but that was like early in the morning, bro. What do you mean? You've been doing these vampire shifts
Yeah,
again?
man.
What?
Of course.
I just it's tough, bro.
What you been researching, dog?
Nah, not researching.
Oh wow.
It's since before my birthday week, I stood up late. And then once you fuck up the cycle, man, that circadian rhythm. I gotta
Mhm.
get it back going.
Yeah, you're wild, bro. That I can't do that. Like we stayed up. Shout out to John. We stayed up till like 3 in my time this week, and no,
Well, I couldn't do it then. I knocked out on you guys that night.
I feel drunk the next day. I'm mad washed. I cannot stay up
Yeah, that's why.
past 1 a.m. anymore. No way.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So yeah, same thing, man. I've tried, but I got it down the last couple of days. But yeah, shout out to even James, variant section.
Yeah, shout
Happy
out to
birthday to
James.
him. And
It was his birthday? Damn, you didn't say anything,
Damn,
James?
bro.
Come on, bro.
Seriously,
yeah, he
dude.
might want to keep that on the low, so I don't want to say the date. But yeah, shout out to him. Happy birthday. Also a
Correct.
Libra. Shout out to the Libra. His wife's a Libra. Shout out to your wife.
Shout out.
And yeah, he even told me, he's like, yo, what are you doing up? I'm getting up early. You're still up? I'm like, don't even worry about it, bro.
Don't even worry about it, my brother. You know,
That's crazy.
I'm out here just
wheeling and dealing internationals. You know, that's
Wait, foreign book? Is this just foreign book stuff?
you know. Sometimes when you gotta reach out to someone that's across the globe, you know, you gotta make some sacrifices. You know?
Oh, you guys still on that foreign book game, huh?
No. I mean, I'm in the game, but I'm not. I'm just a spectator right now. You know.
That's it. You know.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of spectating.
Nice.
Me too, man.
Yeah. So
Well,
I'm. Yeah. That foreign comic chat has been going crazy too. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
It was pretty quiet for a couple months, and then boom, and just all this activity. And what they're but yeah, it's interesting to see what these guys that have been doing it longer than me, Sergio, collect. Let's just say that I'm glad that they collect what they collect.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because some things they post, and I'm just like,
yeah, I don't see it. But
I
hey,
don't
shout
have
out
the
to you
same
guys.
vision as you. You know.
I think
as Doom will say it, I'm gonna let them rock out. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them rock out. Yeah, let people do them, and they don't bother you.
No, it's more of a like it's not a collector thing, it's a business thing, you know? Like it's like, hey, let me buy again, like and guys, sorry that I've said this a million times. Let me buy this $10 book and flip it to you for 100. That's all it is. You know what I mean? Like it's a business thing, you know.
I've heard you guys talk about this chat before, and just like the listeners out there, I think one day you guys should do a video, you, Sergio, and some of those chat guys, and just do like NSDC videos specifically about foreigns. Foreign market talk or pick their brain. I want to see y'all with them and what kind of discussions y'all have.
You know what the problem is with that, and I'll just to throw my 2 cents in this.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to bring you in and have a conversation when there's this very strong bias.
Yeah.
When you're trying to when your sole mission is to make a sale, I don't think I can go too deep in the conversation because I feel like you're just trying to tell me something all the time.
I mean, and that's Sergio's side. For me, it's not even. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care what they try to flex people by or whatever. That's that's on them. Just find it somewhere else if that's the case. For me, it's just, and I've told you this before, both of you. It's their selection on what they pick up. It ain't for me. That's where I'm coming from. Like, so it's hard. Like, I also want to have a conversation. Like, there's either my conversations with people are either I've never met you. I want to know what you're about and what you collect.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, I'm already like halfway there into I know what they collect. I don't know them. So I kind of like want to stick to people that I at least have some commonality with as far as what I pick up. Like just to enjoy the conversation and have more to talk about. Because otherwise, I'm just every piece they show me, I'm just gonna keep saying, "Well, I'm glad it's in your collection." No, because I'm not really, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like just being honest.
I would like to learn more about these foreign books, and just like a different,
Well, I did try to have. By the way, sorry to cut you off, but shout out to Comics Caldron. I did try to have Misael on. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to do, a little collaboration video, but we didn't really get to, the details on how he wanted to do it. It was a little bit, I'll say different the way he wanted to approach the video. Mm-hmm. But he's a Spanish speaker only, so it might be my first Cards and Coffee in Spanish if I ever do that. That'd be dope. Yeah. Definitely invite Sergio.
Bring me along, bro. Yeah, we could definitely.
I know you definitely want. I know you definitely want that connect. So we'll figure it out.
I mean, I can reach out to him whenever I want. It's
of course.
If I don't reach out, I must have my reasons.
No, for sure. It's like I was about to drop some shit right now, but yeah. So but it'd be interesting, like someone like him, because I do like the stuff he picks up. Like again. I don't have to okay everything. He doesn't, not everything he picks up I enjoy it. Some of it is not for me, but for the most part, he has good taste. Like a lot of us have bought stuff from him, even whether it's unbeknownst to you or not. Like it came from his PC.
Yeah.
So he's someone that I definitely enjoy what he picks up. But again, for the most part in that chat, it's like a lot of just keys. Let's say that. Just foreign keys. That's mainly what you're gonna get.
It's either like a key or like a trash book that's trying to be sold to you as a key.
and that's the thing, you guys talk about you guys are tired of Marvel and like serial numbered cards and all this shit. I'm just on the comic side, especially the non-foreigns and even the foreigns. I'm just tired of seeing the same damn keys. That's all you see. To be honest with you, on the most part, all you see is keys. It reminds me of
because they're not going on artwork; they're basing it on like first appearance and
on specking.
I hear you. Yeah.
So I'm glad it's in their collection, and I hope that character makes it big. Like, shout out to everybody that invested in Blue Beetle or whatever the next thing is.
Shout out to Blue Beetle. For sure.
Shout out to Comic Tom, bro. You know what I'm saying? Watch your mouth.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was about time you recognized Comic Tom.
That was a fake ass shout out. I'm gonna have to call him out for that. Sergio's definitely not a Comic Tom fan, so stop.
Yeah, well, you heard Tom McFarlane, bro. Give him his props.
Yeah, give him his props, Sergio.
You know how I felt. Come on, you want to throw the message up on there? What I said about Todd? Come on.
Well, that's on you, man. You're the
man. Let's not get. There's a lot of Todd McFarlane fans who listen to this podcast. Let's not get. Let's just keep it. We're just gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, it was a great week. West Coast Avengers,
Yep. Shout out to Manu. Shout out to all the McFarlane heads. Yeah. RMS. Shout out to everybody. And thank you for another week, another therapy session / whatever this is. I might have to edit some of that stuff because we got a little crazy. And relax if you got any. A think piece essay on the woke stuff. Yeah, we're not trying to hear it, dog. We're just letting you know how it is. So.
No, definitely let us know about if you.
Well, definitely send it to Elusive Collectibles or at Monster Mask. For
100%.
me, I'm good, dog.
Yeah, we just want to know we're right. That's all. Shout out to y'all.
Wow, yeah, the fact that it's about
if
right
you
or
don't,
wrong
if you don't
just
want
says
the X-Men, call the
something.
X-Men. Listen, if you don't want the X-Men called the X-Men, just throw a name, in the chat of what you would like the X-Men to be called. That's all,
Yeah, and don't do Decepticons.
That's I don't know how much of that's gonna stay in, but yeah. Shout out to everyone. And don't everyone out there on the IG streets, be careful with your comments, my G. Things are public, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So
yeah, forget that. Yeah.
Shout out to everybody out there.
Yeah.
All right, Sergio, sign us off. As the voice of the people, dog. Give them some good words of wisdom. You know what I mean?
Guys, as always, thank you guys for joining the podcast. Thank you guys for being part of this, thought time capsule.
There you go.
Don't let us influence you.
Yes, sir. Before, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to say this because at the end, because I really don't want to get into it. I saw the first episode of Dragon Ball Daima, whatever.
Oh yeah,
bruh. It's a struggle to get through, and I hope it gets better. I'm gonna give it a chance.
Yep.
But the first one,
I'm just gonna recommend him as someone that loves cars as well. Just watch Initial D, man. Or go watch Wangan Midnight on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's free. You don't even got to subscribe or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just I think it's gonna take a little bit to roll into the Daima. I think obviously they're gonna start really slow. Because,
there's only 2 episodes out, so I'm not gonna write them off. But oof.
Yeah, and the shitty part about that, just to comment on that the cycle, like that first episode where they're like, okay, we got to make Goku like weaker, right? Like that's the whole gist of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've already done this before, guys. If you guys have watched some of the older Dragon Ball stuff, there is moments where Goku's like mini Goku, and the thought process was the same. Let me just make him smaller to make him weaker, and obviously we all know what the outcome is. So I hope they turn it around. I know that this was Toriyama's last vision, but I don't know what the outcome's gonna be.
Yeah, and anyone wants to watch, it's on Netflix, which was dope.
Yeah,
easy to find.
And that's it. Yeah. And other than that, that's it, man. We can't get too deep into it, man. We're gonna be on here for too long, or we might get even canceled. Again, don't take our our words as concrete, man. Like this is just our opinion. We're having a good time with this, man, and I hope that you guys are having a good time with us too. We do have a couple things planned here in the near future. Whether it be like new people, new faces, different style content, and we just hope that you guys enjoy what we put out there, man. Yeah, that's all I got, man.
Yeah,
you guys have a great weekend. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you guys.
Leave a comment, put hashtag the voice of the people for
take care of your soul.
For Sergio.
Boom. I'm here for you guys.
Hashtag influencer on Sergio.
I'll say the things that you don't want to say, bro. Don't worry, I got you, bro.
There you go.
Peace.
Peace.